Live 3 miles apart on the Lawrence Corridor in Chicago, it's
Semi-regular Wednesdays.
It's our 107th remote show with our special guest,
3 miles apart
and basketball podcaster Megan Gailey, plus Lalita Dee, Bodi Verma, Shea Spillane. And now, lying on the court for a solid 80 seconds after getting poked in the eye, Flower Shop Bangers.
Woo! How are you, Stuart?
I'm good, Dan. Thank you so much for asking. Boy, is it warm outside.
No kidding. It's been like in the 80s, like all week. I mean, my dog is right now behind me asking to go outside, so I think I'll let him right now. You know, he wants to enjoy the nice outdoor weather, and now I have a nice breeze, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a live show, everybody. Sometimes a dog needs to go out.
That's true. I mean, he's not going. He can't go to the bathroom on my deck, but you know, he can go out and enjoy the nice weather.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And good evening, everyone. For those of you who do not know Dan and myself, we are the Flower Shop Bangers. We are an improv duo based out of Chicago. We have been performing together for a little over 8 years, and we have been hosting remote shows once or twice a week for the duration of the pandemic. So going on 15 months now. Thank you to everyone who is tuning in right now. We have a fun show for you this evening. Not quite the show that we were promoting 24 hours ago, but nevertheless, we still have 4 phenomenal comics. Before I get started, though, Dan, if you could say a few words about some of the small businesses we're promoting, as well as some ongoing fundraisers.
You are, yeah, Stuart. If you look down below, you'll see a little banner that's running, and I use that banner just to do what Stuart just said: promote some small businesses and you know, campaigns. We do this because we think that, you know, like, COVID's still happening. Things are opening up. They're opening up very slowly right now. We've been doing this all of COVID, and we've really tried to, like, you know, keep people to support their local businesses as well as other things that need money. First, there is a GoFundMe organized by the comedian Chris Redd. Chris Redd is trying to raise money for people who were affected by COVID-19, who also were at Black Lives Matter's protests. You can find the GoFundMe in the description of the event. He is trying to help cover their medical costs. Second, there is the bar that Stuart and I usually host this show at. That is Shakers on Clark. Shakers, you know, like a lot of other bars, had to close. It's unclear on whether when they are opening up again, but in the meantime, they are trying to tip their bar staff through a GoFundMe. So you can go onto that GoFundMe. You can, you can, give money if you are at home and you are having an alcoholic beverage, or maybe another type of beverage. You can give the money that you would have given for that beverage to Shakers, or maybe the tip you would have given for that beverage to Shakers. Whatever amount, I'm sure would be very helpful. You can again find that GoFundMe in the description of this event. Third, there's a really great gym, locally owned, really great spot in Uptown called Bodi Shak. Bodi Shak is Black owned. They offer really great fitness classes. I actually literally just there today. I did the 5:30 to 6 class, did some biking, did some strength training, really enjoyed it. If you are looking to get in shape, I can't recommend it enough. I have a link to their website as well as their GoFundMe if you want to give directly to a business that, you know, is running classes, but obviously, you know, like, they're still limiting them to 10 people because, you know, the owner doesn't feel safe doing it more than that. Next there is First Sip Cafe. First Sip Cafe is a really great coffee and tea shop in Chicago, right off the Argyle stop in a little area of Chicago called Asia on Argyle. Yeah, they have really great coffee and tea drinks, and I have a link in the description to buy gift cards. And then there is the place where Stuart and I have done a lot of comedy, probably more comedy than like the second most, after doing it just with each other as the Flower Shop Bangers. We've both performed at the Comedy Clubhouse. The Comedy Clubhouse is offering some new comedy classes in stand-up, improv, and theatricals. Really couldn't recommend them enough. Stuart and I have both learned a lot there and honed our craft there. If anyone is looking anywhere from a beginner, they start at the beginner level, they go all the way to what they call an artisan, and you can, start at any level depending on what your level of expertise is. Last and certainly not, I would also say that if any of these businesses are not local to you, I'd recommend just go out and support your own local businesses. There are places that, we all like and want to support that that I'm sure you want to not see go away because, it's a place that's probably important to you. So I just recommend going out and supporting whatever you want. Last and certainly not least, I would say that Stuart and I try to give shout outs in between the acts. So if you are at home and if you are watching, I would recommend that you either like the feed on Facebook to let us know that you're watching, or comment. We always love audience interaction. That you can also comment on the live stream on YouTube if you're watching over YouTube. Either one, we just want to keep the show lively, try to keep people involved. That's just about all I got. Back to you, Stuart.
Yep, we absolutely love doing virtual crowd work. It's pretty much our way of interacting during these very strange times. Well, we have a really, really fun show for you this evening. Obviously, closing out the night will be Flower Shop Bangers.
Woo!
Who will be doing a 15-minute improv set. Right before the Bangers, our special guest of the evening, the host of the podcast The Greatest, in Los Angeles, by way of Chicago, by way of Indianapolis, maybe the most rabid Pacers fan we know, Megan Gailey.
Woo!
Will be doing stand-up, and we're going to talk to her about the NBA playoffs. Right before Megan, in New York, by way of London, by way of Amsterdam, we have comedian Lalita Dee.
Woo!
Right before Lalita, in Brooklyn, we have Mudit Verma.
Woo!
And now, leading us off this evening, is a comic that, incidentally, led off our Old Massachusetts show about 3 months ago. She is a really phenomenal comic based out of Boston, and you can find her on just about every social media platform at Shea Spillane. Please welcome back to our show, Shea Spillane.
Hey, everybody. Oh, thank goodness you did jump around again. You can modify. Hey guys, I'm very happy to be coming at you from Boston, or as I like to call it, dirtier, meaner Chicago. Coming at you from my living room, actually. Very happy to be here. It's where I eat my breakfast and have my coffee. This has been so weird over the course of the pandemic, like doing Zoom shows. It's like I'm performing for the Beatles. That's what's on my wall over there. You can't see it, but it's pretty good. Pandemic, man. It's been an interesting. Supposedly it's winding down. I think it depends on a couple of things. I actually I have had COVID and I've been vaccinated, so like I don't care. I'm just gonna go around licking shit, like I'm good to go. It is weird that I'm fully vaccinated. It's funny. For those of you who haven't gotten it yet, I don't know if this is everywhere or just Boston, but after you get your second shot, like the person who's giving you the shot says congratulations. And I was like, did I make a speech or like that it has to be the first time like ever that anyone's ever been congratulated for letting a stranger stick them with the needle. Usually that's not behavior that you encourage. It is interesting, like thinking about just how our lives changed over COVID. Like I noticed a lot of people, myself included, got really into dating apps. Like it was like the loneliness, like that was even if someone's gonna look at my boobs, and if it's a stranger, so be it. But yeah, like dating apps, I had never been into them before COVID, and I noticed one thing that struck me, all of these dudes I looked at, a big thing for guys is to have a picture of themselves holding a fish that they caught. It's like a really popular, and I look at them like, that we don't need you to hunt while we gather anymore, right? Way over, like if you want to post a picture to make yourself appealing to the modern woman, post a picture of yourself rubbing a woman's feet after she's had a long day. Or doing the dishes. Oh yes, my God, man. Sold. Which it is. I mean, that's how I found someone on there. He was Yeah, he had a picture of himself doing the dishes. I couldn't resist. But it's weird. I'll tell you, it's weird. Starting to date someone during a pandemic. Because when you're dating somebody, like you like to keep it chill, like you like to try to keep things relaxed, but it's like there's also this like deadly virus going around. So you kind of want to be like, yeah, like I mean, totally casual, but like maybe don't see anybody else. But like in a chill way. Yeah. Like like if you can like do what you want, but like if you fuck someone else, like it might kill our parents, just no big deal. Very, very strange thing to experience. So yeah, I'm actually like I'm very confident after the pandemic that I will keep this up. But before the pandemic, I actually stopped drinking. Just because I got too good at it, like nobody likes to show off. But yeah, it's weird. Like so let's see, I'm about 21 months sober, which is strange because like it's the only thing that like has ever happened to me that like people congratulate me for not doing something. You know what I mean? Like usually people don't congratulate you for like not fill in the blank. Sorry, that's a new joke. It's not going to work out. But well, it's strange because I do still hang out with all my friends who drink, which because why wouldn't I? But that's the thing about it, is that they congratulate me while they're shit faced for not drinking. It's a very strange experience. Like, dude, I'm like so proud of you right now. I am not sober. like, yeah, man, you just like fell into me as you said that, so believe you. But it is strange when you're sober, like people kind of look at you as like an expert on drinking and on like not drinking, which by the way, if anyone out there is drinking, like I am not judging you at all. Like I didn't quit drinking because I hate it. You know what I mean? Like not that I don't like drinking. But it's weird because like I've noticed, especially people that know me really well, will ask me questions about it. And my favorite one is they'll say, "Do you think that I'm an alcoholic?" And I'm like, well, dude, you're asking me, so it kind of seems like you think you are. You know what I mean? You don't have someone if they think you look fat, if you think you look skinny. You know what I'm saying? It is weird. Like I feel like deciding to quit drinking is a very grown up thing. I turned 35 2 weeks ago. Like I don't know that I'll ever feel like a grown up. You know what I mean? Especially because I don't think grown ups call themselves grown ups. I don't think that's a thing. But it's weird because like, okay, so I don't feel like a grown up, but I know that I've apparently started to look like one. Like just based on stuff that like happens to me out in the world. You know what I mean? Like I noticed when I go when I'm out in public and like a mom is talking to her kid and referring to me, she started referring to me as the nice lady.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like hold the door for the nice lady, like stay 6 feet from the nice lady. She's not wearing a mask like a jerk. Well, the thing is, like, I just want to like admonish these mothers for being so irresponsible. Like you don't know that I'm a nice lady. Like you don't know me. Like you're supposed to teach your kids to fear strangers. Like you're not supposed to just everyone's nice. Like if you knew me at all, you'd know the example that you gave your child of a nice lady is a woman who has called a 3-year-old a cunt to her face. And don't worry, she was being a cunt. And she didn't speak English. It was fine. Well, anyways, guys, that is it for me. Thank you so much. Woo.
All right, Shea Spillane, everybody. And again, you can find her on pretty much every social media platform at Shea Spillane. Hey, thank you so much. Hey, Dan, let's take a quick first check-in on the Facebook Live feed just to see if there's any questions or comments.
Sure, Stuart. I thought I'd give a couple shout-outs. One is to Mitch Kessler, who, he's our friend at the one Comedy Clubhouse. Always great to see him watching. And another one's my girlfriend, Sally LaRue, who showed me the picture of her and her dogs watching. And also, I thought I'd just give a shout-out to the next comic who's coming up because, he went on he commented on the YouTube stream, liked the Facebook stream, and that's Mudit Verma. So,
thank you so much, Moody.
Yeah.
Yes, I am happy to be here. Shall I get started? Shall I get started with the jokes? Huh?
Oh, well, actually, we have one small piece of business before we get to you, Mudit.
Okay.
I apologize. I
No worries.
I probably should explain that before the show. So when Dan and I moved our show to Shakers, not quite 3 years ago, we began a campaign to save Chicago barprov. For the unfamiliar, barprov, short for bar improv. It's basically, well, it's essentially improv in a bar, but not necessarily limited to improv. It could be stand-up, it could be poetry, it could be dance, burlesque, what have you. And that's basically where Flower Shop Bangers first cut their teeth. We used to produce a show at the Underground Lounge in Wrigleyville. As a matter of fact, this week marks the 5th anniversary that we have been producing shows. That first show at Underground Lounge was that last week in May 2016. So unofficial milestone, but nevertheless. And because we came up of age in kind of like a golden age of Chicago barprov, when we're kind of at its peak. Underground Lounge, Quenchers, the Horseshoe, all these bars, and one by one, I don't know if it's just because there was just too much improv going on. A lot of bars started, canceling these shows. Some of the bars started going out of business, like Mullins and the Crocodile Lounge, or people just started moving in a different direction. So by the summer of 2018, the very concept of barprov and free comedy in Chicago really had its back against the wall. And we kind of set out to be kind of that tent pole for seeing inclusive free comedy in the Chicago metro area. And as an incentive for keeping Chicago barprov alive, we have set up this improv tip jar. I designed it myself. This was a weekend project. It's a solo cup with imported duct tape. You'll notice that that's my engraving. And it is our way, well, it's kind of our way of interacting with the audience, because this shows that the audience is watching the show and enjoying the show, but also our way of giving back to our performers. And at the moment, there happens to be $36 and 48 cents inside the tip jar, which means split 6 ways between all of our performers tonight. Everyone is going home with $6.08. Tell any of our comics that this was a paying gig. So if you are enjoying the show, but you don't feel comfortable yet throwing hard cash at myself or at Dan, and especially because you don't know where our addresses are, you are plenty welcome to just Venmo us throughout the show. You can Venmo us right now. You can Venmo anytime between now and I would say whenever the show ends, about 8:20 Chicago time. You can do so at my Venmo or Dan's Venmo, as shown above.
Yep.
Everything will be split 6 ways. It is no competition. Just think, if you donate $6, that's an additional $1 for each of our performers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are enjoying the show tonight, please throw a bone to all of our wonderful comics. Without further ado, and I do apologize for the premature introduction, our next comic is presently based in Brooklyn. And Saturday, June 26th at 6 p.m. Eastern, he'll be headlining at the Broadway Comedy Club in New York City. Please welcome to our show, Bodi Verma. Hello, Mudit.
It's wonderful to be here. Yes. How awkward would it be if I just went into my set? Just 10 minutes of Stuart and Daniel just waiting on edge to give their super important and relevant announcement. You just got to get through Mudit's jokes. I am a headliner of open mics, but these are semantics, and open mics are that's where you get good. But yes, no, I am performing on the 26th in New York. Very excited about that. It'll be my first sort of Saturday gig at that club. I'll just be a part of their lineup. Just to clarify, in case there are any fact checkers out there, I do perpetually headline open mics weekdays. That's where I'm at in my career. But I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Mudit. That's spelled Mudit. Now, I do not work in IT, despite it being in my name, literally. I don't work in IT. I'm actually a pharmacist. Yes, I'm a pharmacist, which means because I'm Indian, I'm a half-assed version of my parents' expectations. See, my parents wanted a so-called real doctor, a doctor that writes prescriptions, not just takes them at the CVS drive-through, jam you with a quick Johnson & Johnson, the vaccine. Because who knows what's better for you, huh? Now my folks give me a hard time for not being a physician, supposedly falling short. But I told them that I do have an MD. I technically have an MD, and it's in my first name. It's just you that got in between it. Get it? Mudit. That'll show them, huh? They should be glad that we missed out on Thanksgiving 2020, because I would have brought all the puns, baby. That's the new rose. Punning it up in 2021, or 2020 pun, should I say? I'm a test tube baby. My parents needed medical assistance, in vitro fertilization, IVF, to have me conceived, which means my cultural roots, they're not back in India. They're in a petri dish. So if some meanie told me to go back to where I came from, then I would tell them that's kind of complicated. I can't quite fit. There's like logistics involved, and you can't quite fertilize a tube because I already exist. You can't do that in reverse. It's science. I have a bucket list item I'd like to share. I've always wanted to do a spelling bee. I've never actually done competitive spelling. And the thing is, I feel like I could really contribute to the diversity of spelling bee contestants. I'm over twice the age of the rest of those Indian kids. Like, let's fight age discrimination.
Yes.
One grown-ass Indian man at a time. Like, who's with me, huh?
Yes.
Adults can do spelling bees too. It's personal. I have beef with artificial intelligence. My phone changes my name. My phone changes my name to the word audit. Audit, which is ironic. It's like there has to be at least 100 other Indian guys on the autocorrect maintenance team. Like, get our names in the system, huh? Like, I saw half of you at the ESPN spelling bee a decade ago. Like, don't get burnt out yet. Stick it out for me. Stick it out for your own people. You can get me in your system, and that goes for autocorrect, Microsoft Word, Google Docs, you name it. We've got to make some change. So these are the battles. These are the battles I've decided to pick. 2020 was a rough time. I was in between jobs for almost all of last year. I would talk about my feelings. I'd post on Facebook, but whenever I do it, I'd post after 5 p.m. so everyone would think I'm employed. Yeah. And if I woke up really on edge, then I would post at noon so everyone would think I'm on lunch. Keeping it professional. I'm just kidding. I woke up way past noon. Unless we're talking Pacific time. Like, everyone in Los Angeles thought I was this morning person. I was like, yep, just I'm an influencer, super productive, bright and early. I struggle with interview questions. It's one of the reasons it took me so long to get a day job. I struggle with open-ended interview questions, questions that have nothing to do with the day job, like what's your spirit animal? Or what? It's like koala. I don't know. It's or what color of the rainbow best represents your leadership style? I usually blurt out like brown. There's something about that color, even though it's not on the rainbow. Like there's just something, I don't know what it is that speaks to me. But these days with things virtual and folks working remote, my least favorite interview question goes like this. Like they say, hey, Mudit, can you please unmute? I was in the middle of telling them about myself. Like, I don't appreciate being cut off. And Zoom wasn't even in the job description. Like, what? I'm telling the LinkedIn police. Huh? LinkedIn, worst dating app ever. I was raised Hindu, and us Hindus, we believe in reincarnation, which is based on karma. And the way to get good karma is you do good things in a given lifetime to get reincarnated into a better species on the food chain, right? So I'm doing all kinds of volunteer work and community service. So I get reincarnated into a trust fund baby. I'll be philanthropic. I'll do half-day shipping. Bezos will have nothing on me, huh? And my Indian mother will arrange my marriage to Melinda Gates. Like, she will still be around. I think Bill and Melinda had a compromise. Like, now she has the fountain of youth. Like, that's my plan. It's a good plan. Again, I'll do good. I'll be altruistic. I'll try not to start any pyramid scheme. But just to check in, you ever get so lonely that you'll actually want to join a pyramid scheme? Maybe that's my business plan. Maybe that'll be the justification. I get in a lot of arguments. I argue a lot on social media. I argue about everything: politics, pop culture, even memes. And my friends are like, "Really, Mudit? Is this random meme the hill that you want to die on?" I'm like, "Well, I'm Hindu, and Hindus believe in reincarnation, so it gives me unlimited hills to die on." You just argue all day, all night about everything. I can argue next life as well, huh? And maybe that's where the punchlines will come. Okay. I was arguing with my old roommate. He's super conservative, and he said to me, "Hey, Mudit, isn't it weird that Hindus worship cows?" I was like, "You know what, man? It works out because cows actually exist." Now, I don't know what religion my old roommate was, but I'm pretty sure he's not Hindu. I think that I have a few one-liners. Let's see. I want to start an on-demand sewing company called Taylor Swift. I interned at a bank, and I thought the term "bottom line" was a corporate expression for butt crack. There's a line at the bottom. Let's see. I had a really important presentation for work today at my day job, and I started by saying that I will be speaking from the heart, and that's code for I did not prepare for this at all. My go-to euphemism for work presentations, not comedy. I'm so prepared for comedy every time. Yeah. Yeah. I'll wrap up with this. I have a unique name, which is Mudit, and I have a fun way to remember my name. Think back to the kids movie called Madagascar. It's a kids movie from the mid-2000s, and Madagascar is a theme song, and it goes, "I like to mood it, mood it."
Woo!
Mudit Verma, everybody. Thank you, and you can catch at Broadway Comedy Club at 6 p.m. Eastern. All right, Dan, any updates on the live feed? Any questions, comments, arguments, grievances?
No real comments, grievances, or anything like that. But I would say that I did see someone at the First Sip Cafe to join our feed. Very nice to see them. I think they're a very great business, and yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Dan. Also, if you have missed any part of the show so far, do not worry. This entire show will be saved and archived on the Flower Shop Bangers Facebook page right after this show ends. If you have a hard time looking for any information on the Bangers, just go to our website, flowershopbangers.com. It's as simple as that, and you'll find links to our Facebook page as well as our YouTube channel. Without further ado, our next comic is the host of the We Heart Mom Jokes podcast. She'll be at Caroline's on Broadway on June 13th, and you can find her on Instagram at Lalita Dee Comedy. In New York, by way of London, by way of Amsterdam, please welcome to our show, Lalita Dee.
I'm not in New York. I'm on Pacific time. But anyway, that's not a joke. I just wanted to set the record straight on that.
Oh, thank you for clarifying.
It doesn't matter. Nobody cares where I'm from. There's always this. Anyway, we'll get there. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for having me on the semi-regular Wednesdays. Is that what it stands for? SRW. Mm-hmm. Thank you for having me. It's so important that we're doing comedy. Mudit, Shea, I really enjoyed your sets. We need to laugh. The world is a fucking mess. The planets are completely out of whack. And my estrogen is in retrograde. I also found out today that Eric Carle, the very famous children's book author, he has died. It's very sad news, although it's probably good news for a bunch of hungry caterpillars. Sorry, had to be done. I don't even know what caterpillars eat. That joke has a shelf life of about 1 day, just like hungry caterpillars. Okay, so I indeed grew up in the Netherlands. Thank you, Stuart, for pointing that out. And I used to think of all these really cool American places that I knew of because of music. So as a kid, I was into the Jackson 5. They're from Indiana. And then I was into Madonna. She is from Michigan. And then as a teenager, Prince was my hero, Minnesota. And so having moved to the United States, visiting these places ranks really, really high on the list of my life's greatest disappointments. Yeah, they're not my favorite places. New York City, on the other hand, is a whole nother story. So I am from the Netherlands, but I did in 2019 become a United States citizen. Woo! Well, I don't know. Just in 2019, guess who I got a letter from? They asked me a whole bunch of stuff because the United States has an entrance exam. And I like to always check with the people in the audience how they would do on this test. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a question out there. Everybody at home on the live chat and whatever you're interacting, you can put the right answer. But people here in the Zoom room with me, shout it out so I have some feedback. And so the question is this. Now remember, this is 2019. Okay, a former administration. They said if neither the president nor the vice president is able to serve, I was like, really? That's not a hypothetical. We're there. However, in that situation, who gets to be the president? Anyone? What's happening in the chat? Stuart, tell me. Somebody getting this right? If neither the president, you guys, if neither the president.
Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the House. Okay, we have an immigrant in the room. I'm pleased to see. Immigrants get these questions right. American-born Americans, they don't know anything about this stuff at all. You ask them anything, and they're always like, "Oh, I'm gonna take the fifth." Okay, you know what? But do you know any amendment with a number greater than 5? Usually not. So I actually moved to the Bay Area from Wisconsin. I used to live in Wisconsin. And one year I went up to visit a place called Little Chute, Wisconsin. That's a Dutch settlement. They have like a windmill and everything. And they have this Dutch Heritage Fest. And in my naivete, I thought, that sounds fun. Little did I know that the place is a Republican stronghold. So I make my way up there. I go into a little souvenir shop and I tell the lady, like, I'm all proud. I'm like, well, I'm actually from the Netherlands. And she says, well, do you have your documents? I'm like, whoa, funny woman, wasn't expecting that. So I laugh, but then she says it again, like she's actually expecting a reply. And she goes, well, did you come with the right paperwork? And then I got mad and I was like, lady, what aspect of paid maternity leave, access to free healthcare, or affordable education did you think I was fleeing when I came to this country? And I was super pissed. I left the shop and I rang a Mexican friend and I'm like, oh my God, you have no idea what just happened to me. And he said, oh my God, that had never happened to you. Stop whining, white lady. That's what he said. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. What's weird about the Netherlands? Lots of things. But one of the things is that they use American a little bit like a slur. Like they'll say things like, oh, that's so American. Americans only care about money. Like, okay, but the Dutch literally invented capitalism. Like way back when they were going around the world in their boats, looking for spices that to this day they refuse to eat. What I'm saying is, was pepper worth it? It wasn't. was not worth it. We're all talking about the vaccine. Every set has mentioned it already. We are talking about the vaccine. I got the Johnson & Johnson, the J&J, the one and done, which is also how I refer to straight people sex. I do feel that the way people ask what vaccine you've had is very similar to how people ask you about the sex of your baby when you're pregnant. You know, they're always like, which one did you get? Which one did you get? Which one did you get? And in either scenario, it doesn't actually matter what you answer, because the other person will go like, oh, good one. Oh, happy for you. Yeah, happy for you. It's like, what's the point? But I do feel there's an industry waiting to happen. The vaccine reveal party. Going to be big business. You know, people are going to be like, I got Moderna. And to celebrate, I accidentally burned down half of California. Sorry about that. I co-host a podcast called We Heart Mom Jokes. Mom jokes are like dad jokes, but funny. You know, when we started that podcast, we wanted it to be like the parenting version of that NPR show, Car Talk. Do you know that show? Car Talk, super fun show. The difference being that the Car Talk guys know everything about cars and I don't know anything about parenting. And people are confused. They're like, well, how come you don't know anything about parenting if you have a kid? And I'm like, well, I also have a power drill. Don't know what to do with that either. I actually look at that drill and my kid with a very similar mixture of like confusion and hope. Like one day I will figure you out. My son is, this makes it sound like I have a baby. My son is 14, like I'm running out of time to figure out this parenting thing. He's a teenager. He is in virtual school. They call it that because all year he has learned virtually nothing. But But he tells me it doesn't matter because he's going to be a professional YouTuber. Yes. And he's on this gaming app called Discord. I don't know if you know it. Discord is like Slack for people who still have dreams. And in order for me to better communicate with him while he's gaming, he got me my own Discord account. And my Discord account username is Mom. And I was like, really? That was available? Like, I am the only mom on Discord. I feel mom on Discord should be its own category on Pornhub. All right, I will leave you with my COVID observation. There's so many different variations now, variants of COVID. There's a particular variant in the UK. And because of the way the UK variant keeps the British out of Europe, it's known as the Brexit strain. Mm-hmm. And there's also Brazilian. Brazil has its own variant. The Brazilian variant hurts like nothing you have ever experienced. But it will be feeling real smooth at the end. I have been Lalita Dee. Give it up for your wonderful hosts, Dan and Stuart.
Woo!
Lalita Dee, everyone.
Thank you.
And I do mean to clarify, so you are at a show at Caroline's in New York in a few days, but you're presently based in LA.
I'm going to get on one of those things called an airplane. Remember those?
God bless you. I'm still too nervous to fly. I'm still very skittish about the idea of flying. But Lalita, all the power to you, and best of luck with your 2021 summer tour. Dan, any updates on the live feed?
Yes, there are, as a matter of fact. I thought I would give some shout-outs to Loretta Glowiak and Leslie Ryle. They were both, well, Loretta was a little scared to take her shot at, like, who would be the next in succession. Leslie guessed Secretary of State, and unfortunately, I think that comes after Speaker of the House, if I'm correct. So that is the first member of the cabinet. Oh, wait, no. Next would be President Pro Tem. No.
It would be the president, then the vice president. If something happens,
Senate Majority Leader would be next, I think.
House, right? Something happens to all three: the president pro temp, who is the
president pro temp,
member of the majority party of the Senate,
and then it'd be the minority leader, I think, after that.
No, then it goes. Then I believe it goes into the cabinet.
Okay, and then Secretary of State, right, so the top of the cabinet.
Secretary of State, Secretary of the Treasury, Attorney General. Basically in the order of when each department was established.
I don't know what I've set off here, what I've unleashed, but I apologize. I really do. It's a new comedy thing here. It's premise, setup, punchline, and then half an hour of nerding out.
I mean, that's kind of what Stuart and I do. That's a fair amount of our improv set.
Yes.
That's
guilty as charged.
Well, I'm glad I've given you some basis for that. I do have to say there's some very interesting here on the Zoom chat. I mean, people are really showing me they know their amendments, and yes. I don't. I mean, I passed that test 2 years ago. You think I still remember that shit? No, I have my citizenship. Fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, granted, I'm one. I have a good memory. I can remember some things from my Constitution test.
I'm anyway. In an 8th grade U.S. history classroom a fair amount of time, so there are certain things that I've retained and certain things that I get refreshers on.
Yeah. I thought I'd throw out one more comment that I think was funny from Loretta. Pretty sure your kid is actually my kid. So apparently he's probably on Discord and learning nothing from this virtual learning. I thought I'd also just point out, I threw the support the show at our Venmos up again. If anyone is at home and you are like, hey, I got a couple $, let's give them to the guys and give them to the people that are making me laugh. You know. Not a bad idea. Also, if you are at home and if you are enjoying the show and you would like to keep up with us, I would recommend that you either subscribe to the Flower Shop Bangers on YouTube or like us on Facebook. Either one will keep you up to date on our show. And that's just about all I got. Back to you, Stuart.
Yep, 650 likes on Facebook and rising. Oh. Yes, and our YouTube channel is still relatively new, so we'll forgive that we have something like 13 or 14 subscribers on YouTube. I mean, we can't all be Jake Paul.
No, unfortunately.
Not that any of us really desires to be either Paul brother by any means.
No.
before we get to our special guest, also just want to quickly mention that Flower Shop Bangers is a two-man operation. It is a passion project for Dan and myself, but I also happen to run a comedy page of my own right on Facebook called Stu News. As you may have noticed from that massive sign that I have behind me underneath the Blackhawks towel, I run a Facebook page called Stu News. It's hot takes on what's going on in the news, late night style monologue jokes posted 6, sometimes 7 times a week. You can find it at facebook.com/Stu News. Or if it's easier, or if you just don't like Facebook, you can just go to Twitter, twitter.com/HeyStu818. This now brings us to our special guest of the evening. She is presently based in Los Angeles, but originally from Chicago by way of Indianapolis, Indiana. She has been seen on Just for Laughs as well as Comedy Central Presents. She is also the host of The Greatest podcast, and you can find her on Twitter at Megan Gailey. It is our esteemed honor to welcome back to our show, Megan Gailey.
Woo!
Hi. I just didn't want to talk over the music. The Greatest podcast has been canceled by the network.
Oh, no.
That's okay, Stuart. That's okay. Listen, I love how much you love Facebook. It really cracks me up. Okay. All right. I'm going to get it together. Sorry. I just came from losing a movie trivia game. So honestly, the Pelican Brief is like haunting me in my brain right now. Dan, I love when you were like, oh, I remember some things from my Constitution test. And I thought you were going to say, I remember some things from my concentration camp, which it's like, oh yeah, like America would never put us in concentration camps to learn things. Like they'd be like, no, put the books away, kids. I did just find some trail mix on my desk. So happy it was a Constitution test and not a concentration camp. I have been to the Netherlands. I did get high and I did get drunk and I did have shit talked about me at the Anne Frank house. Which I think is a real rite of passage to have. And they were German teens. And it takes a lot of fucking balls to be a German teen talking shit about anybody in the Anne Frank house, if you know what happened, okay? Well, I'm like, I think Anne and I would have connected. I would have helped her. I know none of you would have, so strange for you to turn your ire on me. I was in the Netherlands. I remember there were like those little pancakes.
Oh yeah, poffertjes.
Oh, those are really good. Those are really good. It almost seems like the Netherlands knew when they were planning their food that weed was going to be their thing because little baby pancakes do not exist anywhere else, and so that seems like they do. I went to the Heineken brewery there, which is really fun because they like walk you through and you drink a ton of beer. And then at the end, they're like, do you want to send a video message to anyone? And you're wasted. So you're like, of course. And then it's just like 18-year-olds that are doing like a gap year in Europe being like, thank you, Mom and Dad. I loved it there. I love the Netherlands. Denmark and the Netherlands are not the same. That's something I learned in Indiana public schools. Okay. Woo! Dutch, it's very confusing. You hear Dutch, Danish, not the same. Okay. I have had the Pfizer. I've got that Pfizer chronic. You really do start to learn about what you value and what your priorities are once you had the vaccine. Like I immediately got Botox and I still have not called the dentist. Haven't even set up the appointment, but my forehead is still. Okay, look at that. Oh, that looks nice. That looks nice. In between too, nothing. Teeth, plaque everywhere on them. I like you, Mudit. I got here. Did I say that right? Listen. I'm like now I'm heckling the other comedians while I'm on. Okay. I'm also trying to watch the NBA finals while doing this. The Knicks are shitting the bed big time. I live in Los Angeles and I'm an Indiana sports fan. You see my little Indiana there and my little Daisy Duck. Hey girl. So I am loyal to Indianapolis sports, but I've adopted some of the LA teams and people are so fucking mean to LA. Oh my God. I just got back from New York. all they did slander, slander, slander. And it's like, I don't talk shit about New York, and I had a botched abortion there. Okay. So if I can move past that, you can move past the traffic here, I think. People talk shit about LA sports fans all the time. You guys don't care. You always show up late. It's like, I'm sorry, we're busy creating art. All right. Like, what's happening in Oklahoma City? Fucking nothing. We're busy rating Citizen Kane in Riverdale. All right. Sorry, we missed the first quarter. We've got notes to address. I ride hard for it. I have a very sweet mom, as you can tell, not sweet, me. My mom is very kind. Today she sent me a text that said, oh, a woodpecker just whipped by my head. Like that type of sort of grown-up Snow White shit. She's a really nice lady. She told me recently that she gave her gynecologist, and I'm just going to pause there, and I want everyone to fill in what they think it could be, because it's definitely not going to be that. Any guesses what my mom gifted her gynecologist?
Virginity.
Painting.
A what? A what? COVID? No. Stuart, what'd you
Georgia
say?
O'Keeffe painting.
A Georgia O'Keeffe painting? That would have been nice. Vagina, flowery vagina. No, my mom gave her gynecologist a red leather jacket.
Oh.
Exactly. Why? It's so weird. And then I was like, oh, is that some sort of like vagina thing? She goes, no, I wore it to the doctor's office once and she liked it. So I just gave it to her. And I'm like, that's not how compliments work, Mom. You gave the jacket off your back to your gynecologist, Sandy. Oh, God. I'm trying to get pregnant right now. That's what I call getting sober. Some people go to the desert to dry out. Not me, just trying to get knocked up. It's gotten into the land where people are starting to say crazy shit to me, though. Like, I was with a friend recently who I don't like. You know, your friends that you don't like. I was with a friend and she goes, oh, you should see my guy. He can remove the trauma from your womb. And it's like, listen, I went to a Big Ten school. I already told you I had a botched abortion. There's obviously trauma in my womb, but I wouldn't call it that. I would call it friendly ghosts, you know, Casper maybe is in my womb. But this is the thing that really pisses me off. And this is what women say all the time. It's like, no one is going up to my husband and saying crazy shit. Only me. No one's going up to my husband and being like, oh, you know what you need? Oh, you got to get a voodoo doll of your dick. Yeah, you got to get a voodoo doll of your dick and sing to it and pet it. No, men, they have to do nothing. I bought my husband like a kit to test his sperm. He's so freaked out. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I bleed, bitch. I bleed. Pee on this stick. He's gonna like that one. Are we broadcasting on Twitch? I can't show my nipples, right? I wasn't going to. It's just like always in the back of my head. Like at the beginning of Twitch, it was like all fun and games, and then the next week they were like, no, don't show your nipples. And then all I wanted to do is show my nipples, and I have bad nipples, but you know, it's like that when they tell you they don't want you. Oh, my mom said that I could have my wedding album when she dies. So that's nice. Can't wait for that. I'd rather have her, honestly. I'm trying to work out some thoughts. Someone asked me recently when I knew I was going to be a comedian, and I did not have an answer. I do have one story that sticks out. I was on spring break, my senior year of high school, and we were walking along this like highway, myself, two friends. I was in a head to toe Ralph Lauren outfit, looking very cute. And a Ford F-150 pulled up next to us and was like, where are you girls going? And 17-year-old me said, Planned Parenthood. And then the man spit on me out of his car. And I thought, I like this. This is fun. What can I do that's going to make men so angry they spit on me? I'm going to do that. That's going to be my path. And then I tried to be a sports broadcaster. But that did not work. All right. I got married right before the pandemic, so my husband keeps calling our wedding a buzzer beater. That romantic phrase. At the end of our vows, we said it's Dame time. No, that's a joke. And my husband did bring up Kaepernick in his vows, apropos of nothing. It was very strange. And then he called the Colts racist. Oh, it was great. I loved it. It's on video. We got married December 14th of 2019. And I do have to say, it's very hard to pick a wedding date. A lot of people have input. There's a lot of dates in our country's history that are bad. You know, you got to tiptoe around those. And so December 14th, it worked for his family, my family. I was so excited. And then I was driving to work one day right before the wedding, and I was listening to NPR. Okay, because LA has not changed me. And on NPR, they were doing a story, and they said, this December 14th will mark the 7th anniversary of the tragic shooting at Sandy Hook. And I was like, no! Fuck, I forgot about mass shootings. Like, I truly had not planned to navigate when I could get married based on the mass shooting schedule. And so I called my husband and I was like, oh my God, we're getting married on the day that Sandy Hook happened. And he was like, that's okay. Nobody knows that date. It's not like 9/11. And I go, yeah, if it was 9/11, we'd be getting a discount. Instead, we're just paying full price for tragedy. That's my set, guys. Thank you so much for letting me scream at you and not spitting on me.
Megan Gailey, everybody. Now, Megan, you have the unique distinction of being the first person we've ever interviewed twice on our Zoom show.
Oh, dear.
We first had you on our show, I think this was July last year. We asked you about, I think it was right before the NBA season resumed, when they had like the playoffs,
right before the bubble started.
When the bubble started and everything. So we absolutely, so Dan and I were talking, and we've got to pick your brain about the NBA playoffs.
Okay, great. Look, I'm taking off my sweater now. I'm like, now let's really fucking get into it.
Oh yeah, you got it. All right. So obviously you mentioned that the Knicks are eating shit tonight. So suffice to say, it may have been a mistake to piss off Trae Young.
Yeah. And it's very tough for me to root for the Knicks, but I feel myself, I never thought I would be in that headspace, just being a Pacers fan. But I want them to win. I really do. And I'm not against Nate McMillan. I love Nate McMillan. Mm-hmm. I think of him as like an ex, and I miss him. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. I mean, McMillan was on the Pacers for a number of years, way back when. Obviously, I mean, it goes without saying, you're probably the most unabashed Pacers fan Dan and I know.
Thank you.
And I think the Pacers were part of that expanded playoffs, right? They were like a 10 seed.
Yeah, we were the 9th or 10th, and we played. God, we whooped someone's ass the first game. Mm-hmm. Maybe the Pelican Hornet. The youngest ball, whoever the baby ball plays for, whooped their ass and then lost to the Wizards.
Mm-hmm. Now, I guess my first question is, I guess maybe I'm confused about the expanded playoff format, because I think in the first part of the expanded playoffs, the 7 plays the 10 and the 8 plays the 9. Is that correct? Or is it, I think I also saw that the 7 was playing the 8 and then the 9 plays the 10 first?
Yeah, so the 7 plays the 8, and then whoever wins that is in, and whoever loses that plays the winner of the 9 and 10 to get in.
Okay, that only sort of makes sense to me, but I mean,
did I not explain it well?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, you're doing your best job. It just, I don't know if it was just, maybe it's the NBA planning this out.
No, it's really weird. But they're just trying to give the 7 and 8 the best chance to get in. So if you are in that 7 and 8 game and you lose, then you're not out. So it's double elimination for 7 and 8 and single elimination for 9 and 10.
I mean, in my humble opinion, just my personal opinion, if there was going to be like some sort of expanded playoffs, I would just have the 8 play the 9, because from what I've seen in recent years, normally the 8th and 9th seeds in each conference are almost interchangeable. You have a couple of teams, they're both hovering around 500. It's like they either have a weak offense with a strong defense or vice versa. kind of maybe had kind of an up and down season. I just feel like maybe including a 10th is maybe just a little much.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, it's purely based on a like TV thing. It's not, they're not, I don't think it's like for the game. It's financially and like fan based. So the 10th is arbitrary, but it's just to get more, you know, like in the bubble when they just like clearly wanted Zion in. So they just make up rules to be able to get whatever like big ticket, high, like watch players into it. So they may like in 2 years, they may be like, now it's the 8th and the 12th seed. If who, you know, it's all made up.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, as for your Pacers, and kind of an interesting season. I mean, you had 4 different players. I mean, well, technically 3 that played the whole season, plus Victor Oladipo, that all averaged at least 20 points per game. I mean, I feel like that. I mean, the team looks like it's okay on offense, but I feel like there's still room for improvement in a lot of other aspects of their game. Now, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Nate Bjorkgren on the hot seat? Do you think he deserves another year?
I never wanted him to be the coach in the first place. Nate McMillan was the coach who was fired. According to my dad, he thinks he's going to get another season, but I don't know. The firing and hiring process that they go through makes no sense to me. I would prefer for him to be gone.
Right. And I mean, and plus the Pacers, I believe, were second in the Central, but at the same time, the Central had probably the weakest division in basketball last year. You basically had the Bucks, and you had basically everyone else.
Yeah, we suffered a lot of injuries. We could not. We just couldn't get healthy.
Right. It looks like. I mean, I was looking at the stats, and I think you only had 4 players that played at least 60 games this year. Yeah. Yeah. That's. I mean. Well, here's hoping they get healthy and get their act together for 2021.
I appreciate that. I appreciate your well wishes.
Yes, I send the good vibes, and I mean, it's like I'm a Bulls fan, and I've definitely been humbled for the last 20 plus years. I mean, again,
do you think everyone's loving this Pacers chat? You think the fans are like, you got to come over here? They're talking about Nate Bjorkgren.
Okay, so I'll shift over to the other part of the country. If I'm not mistaken, your your Twitter profile photo, you're pretending to dunk wearing a LeBron jersey.
Yes.
I guess my other question, I mean, as far as basketball, LeBron James only missed something like 50 games in his first 15 seasons in the league. But he's missed another 50 over the last 3 years. He's already missed 50 games since he's been with the Lakers. So so you probably pay a lot more attention to the Lake Show more than we do. How much gas does LeBron have left in the tank?
I honestly think that some of that time off has probably helped him. Because he's not having to have scheduled rest. I mean, it was his ankle, he was injured. I think he's got, I mean, do you see how high he got last night? Like he's 36. He's got 4 years left in him. I don't know if they're going to be, he's not going to be the leader of a team, but I think if he could play till he was 40, I think he would love to play until Bronny is in the league. And Bronny's a freshman or sophomore. And I really shouldn't know that about a child, but I think he's like 15 or 16. So I think he will hold out until his son is in the NBA.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of attention regarding LeBron James Jr., Bronny, as some call him. I was going to say, because I think it was roughly around when LeBron himself was like 15 or 16 that he started getting national media attention. So I maybe just a lot of unwarranted pressure on that end. But at the same time, it ended up being completely justified. It's crazy to think that LeBron has been in the public conscious for 20 years already. I guess if there's been one playoff series that I've been paying a lot of attention to, it has been the Mavericks and the Clippers. That has been those first 2 games, even though they were both Mavericks wins. That has been a fun series to watch, and I was kind of curious to know kind of what your insights were in the big battle between Luka Legend and Kawhi.
Clippers Twitter is falling apart. I've never seen some of these grown adults so upset. I mean, men I know, oh boy, crying. They want the whole team blown up. They want to fist fight Ty Lue. Oh, everybody is furious with Pat Beverly. It's They said they're not worried though. Ty Lue and Paul George were like, no concerns. We'll figure it out. And now they have to go on the road. I mean, I think it's done. And that's who they sort of like tanked 2 games to play. And now they're kind of finding out what happens when you do that.
I mean, I would wish these Clippers fans were a little more humble because I remembered like the Loy Vaught era. I remembered like the mid 90s. Like I remember.
I mean, in LA, it's a Lakers town, and so they feel really like redheaded stepchildren here, and so I think they have like a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, but they are getting their own stadium.
Well, about time. I was gonna say, considering they moved to LA something like 35 years ago, they've been sharing a stadium with the Lakers ever since.
Yeah. And Staples Center is the Lakers. I've been to Clippers games and you're like, this is stupid. Like it's so clearly not their house.
Court, it looks like they just bought like a basketball court at Aldi. It's so generic looking. It's just black and white.
I'm maybe one of the only people left on earth that likes Paul George though. So I do feel sad when people are mean to him. And I wish him and the stripper he left Doc Rivers' daughter for well. I do. I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
I appreciate that. One last question. I mean, do you have any finals predictions? I'm thinking.
I think it will be Nets and somebody. I think the Nets are going to win the title. I think they look very, very good, and my husband gets really upset whenever I say that.
Stuart, we actually missed your prediction. If you could just repeat it.
Bucks and Nuggets.
Bucks and Nuggets. Okay. Interesting.
And Dan, you're welcome to chime in if you have any questions for Meg. I don't know what your prediction is for the finals, but
I mean, looking at it right now, I mean, I can tell you what I'd be hoping for. Like, I would hope that the Bucks get over their hump. Like that would be one I would definitely pull for. And if I were to choose a second team, I'm really torn between Utah or Phoenix, just because I think both of those have been like solid franchises for a long time, and I think they both. I would love to see either of them make it. I would love to see either of them make it. I think they both had great teams for a long time. Yeah.
You guys think that?
I mean, I think if there was a Bucks Nets East Finals, I think it really could go either way. I mean, again, because Giannis is another player who's got a big chip on his shoulder. Because again, he just, I don't know if it just.
Oh, God damn it! This is baloney.
A little more driven than we've seen him in past years.
I mean,
I could be wrong.
I would. Bucks Nets will be a great series, and I like when the East is good.
Yes, and I ask. I mean, all three of us could be wrong because this is probably the most wide open I've seen the playoffs in ages. I don't really feel like there's really any clear-cut favorites in either conference.
I think the Nets.
That's a good bet.
Did I freeze or did Stuart freeze?
I get Stuart is frozen for me too.
Oh, okay.
I know my internet's apparently bugging out at the moment, which is kind of frustrating. Oh, Stuart, we lost Stuart. Oh no.
Goodbye, Stuart. Wow. The internet really did not like his Bucks love.
Oh, I don't know. I guess if I were to continue this interview, I would ask you if
The Wi-Fi crapped out. We're good. We're back.
Oh, you're back, Stuart.
Oh, no, I was not being rude by no means. I
No one
absolutely
thought that.
value-
No one thought you were being rude. No one thought that.
Okay, thank you. Well, in any case, Megan, thank you so much for taking the time to. Again, I mean, you're absolutely phenomenal. It's an honor, always. It's a pleasure to have you in our show, and we love the picking your brain about basketball. So,
Thank you. So nice.
you're most welcome. I know it was just like the Wi-Fi had crapped out just as I was about to wrap the
And give me
interview.
compliments. I know. It always happens.
All right. Once again, Meg and Gailey, everybody.
Woo!
All right. Dan, one last check-in before we get to our final act.
Yes, of course, Stuart. I thought I would give a shout out to there's one more person who we see almost every week, and that is Mark Romanowski. And I'm sure he's watching at home with his wife Jordan. It's always great to see them, and it's great to see that they tune in so often. And yeah, no, it's I think they've been our number one. They've been the most consistent audience members this whole pandemic.
Yep. I mean, they are probably Bang Net's number 1 and number 2.
That's at this point.
Yep. We decided a couple of weeks ago that Dan and I felt like our fans needed like a nickname, kind of like how like Taylor Swift has the Squad, Beyonce has the Bayhive. So we decided to call our fans the Bang Nets.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, that was Dan's idea, and I'm totally running with it. He's
There we
football. He's the quarterback. I'm the running back. We're totally running with this. Also, again, if you have missed any part of the show so far, it will be saved and archived on the Flower Shop Bangers Facebook page right when the show ends, and you can also watch it on our YouTube page as well. By the way, we do this every Wednesday, and we have a pretty jam-packed show for you next Wednesday, June 2nd. It is our Halfway to Hanukkah show. It is a special thing that we do. It just so happens that Wednesday, June 2nd will be exactly 6 months from the 4th night of Hanukkah. So basically, a whole show where all of our comics are Jewish.
Stuart, you're cutting out again. Is that happening for everyone else?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not just me. Let's see. Stuart said we had a show next week where we have our all Jewish show. I would probably have to check our Google Doc because I don't keep up with the shows as the host of Spotlight. Okay. Yeah, Stuart just cut out, and so now I am. Oh, he's back. It looks like, but his video is not on. This is a little concerning because our improv set is coming up, and I usually don't do improv solo. I tried it once. It was at the Underground Lounge several years ago, and I thought it went okay. I remember the audience was completely silent the whole time, which I took as they were listening to me and paying attention to my set, and that they were fascinated by it, by me just doing a solo bit. As opposed to them just being uninterested. I figure if they were uninterested, they would probably be talking over me. So right now, because I hear nothing, I can assume that people at home are also very interested in what I have to say and do. Stuart is coming back. I will try to add him to the spotlight and see if he comes back. I still don't see his video. I think he is having internet trouble. I have been having internet trouble, unfortunately, as well. Now he's gone. Anyway, I don't know what exactly is going to happen. You might see the Flower Shop Bangers. You might not tonight, depending on what Stuart can do. I am going to keep talking until Stuart can figure it out. We will maybe see if he comes back one more time, and if he doesn't, we do thank everyone who's watched so far. It has been a very, very good show. It has been a very, very good show, and a thank you to everyone who's performed. Thank you to Shea Spillane and let's see, and Mudit and Lalita and Megan. All of them were very good comics. And we really hope that everyone at home has enjoyed the show so far. I'm sorry, we are trying to get people back on, but that might happen, it might not. This is the nature of technology and the nature of a live show sometimes. We don't pre-record this or have it, so I am speaking off the cuff right now. And I hope you're enjoying my speech right now. I'm just going to keep talking, not really saying anything at all. Yes. Oh, now I am the only person in the Zoom call. Look at this, guys. The only person here. Maybe Stuart will join me. Maybe he won't. I really don't know, and I don't know what's happening. I don't know if this is my connection, someone else's connection. Yeah, but It's been fun. Um, yeah. This is a fun chat we have here. The Zoom gods are angry at us, I guess. And I don't know. If you were at home and if you are still watching, because apparently there are people who still are, you can maybe try to remember your favorite Constitution facts to maybe play off Lolita's great set about how she was getting her United States citizenship. I'm trying to think if I remember anything. I don't know if I remember anything other than what I've already said. Zoom view said maybe let in by host. I see no one in the waiting room. Okay, well, I guess if people are seeing that and I see no one in the waiting room, I don't know what that means. I don't know where everyone is. Let me try. Maybe the link changed randomly. I do actually really appreciate that there are still people watching. They're just watching me talk off the cuff, off the top of my head. I am genuinely amazed that people have not tuned out. People are this invested in just seeing Stuart and I go off the cuff. And if I can't get them in here after this, I think we will end up just calling the show for the evening. We do apologize that we could not do our normal improv set. We do have a lot of fun doing it, but it seems that, things are not coordinating, and that is unfortunate. Yeah, I still don't see anyone in the waiting room, so I don't know. I don't know. All right. Well, I don't see anyone in now, so I do thank everyone for watching. If you like the show, you can please tune in. You can still donate to the tip jar. I will put that up really quick, just so that if anyone did enjoy the show tonight, you can still, make sure the comics know that. Make sure that everyone does it. Yeah, this is kind of just what's happening tonight. It's unfortunate, but at this point, I feel like just one of those streamers who's doing it. Thank you.